Hey guys, welcome back. So, I have to make this video. Alright, so depression. Let's talk about it. When it comes to depression, right, to me, first off, I'm not a medical professional. Just from a person who's dealt with it before, that's why I'm making this video. But for me personally, I think that there's two kinds of depression. There's one, which is a severe chemical imbalance within the body or brain, which causes, an outpouring of negative thoughts. Then I think that there's the more common depression that most people have, which is from social anxieties and things of that nature. And a disalignment of where our mind, it's kind of like a disalignment between what we think about the world and what the world actually is. So like an existential crisis sort of thing. But I feel like sometimes in the parameters of this depression, I feel like it can be cured, like social depression. That's what I want to call it. Like there's social anxiety, but I like to call it social depression. So one, you have to understand that the world doesn't revolve around you and your issues. That's just number one. You have to understand that is one of the most key things ever. You are in charge for how you feel and how you display those actions, how you display those feelings. So nobody really cares, about, that's why it's one of those major things that happens when like a celebrity dies and then people say, oh, we got to really worry about mental health. Well, a lot of people don't want to just come out and say that mental health is such a blanket statement. You know what I'm saying? It's such a blanket statement. It's just, we need to fight depression. We need to fight this. No, what we need to fight, and this is just, like I said, my personal opinion, what we need to fight is people's ideas of themselves, okay? We need to change the way people deal with themselves and the world around us. So we live in a day and age now where any type of disagreement that you might have with somebody makes you a bigot or makes you this or makes you that. And seldom of those people are they really prepared to deal with that backlash. Some of them just do it for fun, some people don't care. But some people take these things really close to the heart. So I don't want to say that most people have depression. I want to say that most people they're really sensitive. You know what I'm saying? They're really sensitive. And here's the thing about getting stronger as a person. You have to go through being sensitive. Like there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being sensitive. What's wrong is you taking everything that someone says personally and allowing that person to say something to affect you in here. So what I think that is the lack of identity that most people have. Does that make sense? Like most people think that they have this general idea of themselves, you know what I'm saying, and what they do, how they are, what they bring to the table. And then there's someone else's idea of them, like a friend or a family member or someone that knows them or probably doesn't even know them, and then making comments on this, and then these people taking this to heart. Social depression to me can be super managed and super easy because you have to control what you watch and what you see and who you listen to. Now it's hard, but sometimes you just gotta listen to the inside and go, this doesn't sound right. I'm just gonna kind of back away from this, and there's nothing wrong with that because you're just protecting yourself, which is the major thing. A lot of people walk out in the world without an armor. They walk out with the expectation that the world should treat them good just because that's how it should be. But this is not realistic, which brings me to my second point. You have to be realistic about the world and about your ambitions and who you are. If you're a sensitive person and you don't feel comfortable talking to people about things, that's totally fine. But you can't walk around with a chip on your shoulder from every person that's just made a comment about what you're wearing or how you look or something like that. Like, is it right? Not necessarily, but do you need to be like totally destroyed just from like someone's comment? Not necessarily. So what I think the main problem is people develop an identity based off of what other people think and not what they think of themselves. So when you get hit by something like this, it can tear you down more. You gotta realize the world is a hard place. Life is hard. People are hard. That's just how it is. Some days it's gonna be easier than others, but most of the time it's probably gonna be difficult. But here's where this brings me to my third point. Are you healthy? Are you trying to achieve a level of health? Are you trying to take care of your vessel, of your body, of your mind? Are you taking the proper precautions? And what I mean by that is not just like reading positive quotes on Facebook, listening to motivational speeches, no. I'm talking about, are you doing something in your life that makes you proud of being you? Are you following your passions? Are you doing the things that you like to do? Are you making a statement? Are you leaving your stamp on the world? Because that's something else too. Making a statement to the world and to yourself is something that's really important, and that I also believe can combat depression or this social depression. 4, are you on social media more than 4 to 5 hours a day? So are you just distracting yourself from the world by looking at other shit? Let's be honest, the internet and Facebook, social media, it's a cesspool, okay? It's a cesspool full of some of the most negative, downtrodden people that you'll ever see or come across in your entire life. But you also have to realize one thing. You barely see those people outside. You know, if you're so trapped in your phone, that means you're more than likely trapped in your head. You have to get outside. You have to get outside and realize people aren't like that most of the time. You know, the internet is a place where anonymity rules and people can say whatever they want and what they want about you at any given time. They can show their face, but you'll never go out and actually physically meet these people. So when you're outside, go outside and just think, how many people will you actually see who say these things? You know what I'm saying? Friends or not. How many times would you see them? You know? You have to be realistic when it comes to these sort of things. And I think that this sort of depression just traps you in your head and traps you in your mind because of what you believe is out there than actually going to adventure and seeing it for yourself. So that's why I'm an advocate for, if you are depressed, try to be depressed outside. Try to be outside where you can get out of your head, out of that box for a moment. You know, shut your phone off. When you're finding your passion and doing your passion, find the things that make you happy. And here's the thing about it. It's gonna be hard. That's it. There's no easy way out. There's no, there's no way to get around doing the hard work that it would take to get over this depression. So what I think too is that it shouldn't be getting over depression, but managing depression. Now, some people, they might need drugs. They might need some pharmaceuticals to help. Some people are okay with just working. Me, I'm one of those people that I just love to work. So I don't really pay attention to people in the first place. And here's the thing, which is my 5th point. No matter what you do in life, something is going to affect you in a way that will depress you. You know, how long it lasts really depends on you, but the dark times don't last. We all know that. It's just how you get through it, you know? So instead of trying to prevent getting sad, learn some coping mechanisms that will help you deal with that sadness instead of just trying to constantly push it off. Then there's my 6th and my final point. Avoid overly positive people just as much as you avoid overly negative people. Now, the lesser of the two evils is the positive person. But someone who's negatively disillusioned and positively disillusioned, the world is not always great. But there are great things in it. The world isn't all sunshine and rainbows all the time. There are some dark parts in it. Like, you have to find the balance between the two, and then allow your personality to shape you into the person that you want to be. Les Brown said that he believes that humans are born negative. I personally agree. You will probably go through a lot more hardships being young and being born than you would, just not existing. So humans have to develop positivity. We have to develop these things. And you know how we develop them? By getting through the shitty times. Humans only grow in resistance. You only get more intelligent the more you sit down and you invest your mind into these books, into these seminars, whatever you're doing, into the gym. That's the only way. You have to go through a certain amount of pain to achieve what you want. But most of the pain that we have today, I believe, can be thoroughly avoided. Just because we put too much stock into what people say and we don't do our own research. But overly positive people just seem to be disillusioned and not understand that, the world has its bad points. And there's nothing wrong with looking at the good parts, because I would much rather be around an overly positive individual than an overly negative. But both of them seem to have this part in them that doesn't allow them to cope with certain things. So negative people often see positive things and then they'll be like, well, this can't be real. And then positive people, when they finally do go through a negative spell, they don't know how to really get out of it or deal with those negative emotions because they don't believe they should have them. Every array of emotion that you feel, that you've ever felt, and everybody feels them differently, is necessary. Is necessary. That's just period. There's nothing else about that. It's just necessary because that's how we live life. That's how we enjoy life. It's through our emotions. So trying to shut down your sad, mad, embarrassed, all that stuff just takes away from your life. If you were always happy, I guarantee life wouldn't be good. And if you were always sad, life ain't good. It's a happy balance between both. You need good and bad, period. There's no way of getting around it. Now, some people might be different. They can just be positive and be cool. That's okay. There are positive, cool people. But I've never met a good negative person. I've never met that person. So, and here's the thing, if you don't know who that person is, you're probably it, honestly. You have to do some very deep introspection and learn what it is about you that is so affected by these things. And that's the hard part, you know what I'm saying? Before, depression wasn't just like that easily diagnosed, you know what I'm saying? You have to find your niche in life that's going to make you proud of you and make you happy for what you bring to the table. And that's it. It doesn't have to be family, friends, or whatever. You, as long as you're happy with you and the people that are on your side are cool with you and the people that are against you are away from you, then you're fine. And work on yourself just as hard as you work at your job. If you work 8 hours at a job, you have to do at least 8 hours of work on yourself a day, and you have to make the time. All this I don't have time shit is just bullshit. Everybody has time. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, I work 40, 50-hour weeks and this and that. Like, man, look, at some point in time, you're going to take a break. You're going to have to do it no matter what. I don't care how crazy your work schedule is. Mental health is something that's worked on every second of every single day that you are alive, period. And that should be it. So, with that being said, try to avoid the negative and overly negative and positive people. Get healthy. Find what you want to do in life. Do it, and do it a lot. And do it as much as you possibly can. So that way you can be proud of yourself. And build your confidence, man. Because that's the only way you're going to get through life. Otherwise, you're just going to be suffering the whole time. And you don't want to do that. Nobody wants that. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Take your time. It's always one step, one meal, one day at a time. And with that being said, I love you guys. Hope you love the workout. I will catch y'all later.